Coming.
It's gonna be nice tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? Only people who've been.
That's supposed to be
to Florida
cold
wear
though this
shorts in
weekend.
winter.
Do what?
Only people who've been to Florida wear shorts in the winter.
My wife tells me I got cold.
Yes, I have like white skin. You look like you.
Got it.
You look like that.
Yeah, high as zero on Sunday.
Straight to it.
Well,
High as zero on Sunday. That's gonna be nice.
Ooh. Yeah, that's not so good.
That's not good. That's all right. We've been good though. We've gotten this far so far.
Yeah, right.
Hasn't been too bad.
We're stealing right now.
My eyes are not.
No, I can't see that either. Who's up there?
I can't see that.
Okay, so we have me, Mike Danielson, Cindy Bassett, Amy Griffin, Dick Vanderpool.
All right. No Tyler yet?
No Tyler,
All right.
and I lost Vic.
Amy's there, isn't she?
There's Vic.
Yep, there's Vic there.
I saw a box come in,
Oh, gee.
so I'm guessing that's him.
And then Ashley Soma.
Oh. Yeah.
Thank you.
I was surprised because we were killed this weekend.
Yeah. It wasn't bad. It's always horrible weather.
And woke up and our Suburban was coated in ice.
It does,
We're like, oh my goodness, we kind of hung up out until about 10 west.
yeah,
The highway
so
was-
we were
Must be
talking-
pretty popular.
Sometimes like I
Must be
find
pretty
myself.
popular. We have.
What's the
Sometimes
name of this
it's
thing
just-
that I had?
You know, there's
Yeah,
some.
of course, we on YouTube, so.
You know, there's where we're-
Good. That's good.
I feel like it's
What do we got?
Because it's
So I can.
16 people
or so.
watching.
Or-
30 people watching. 30 people watching. Yes.
They'll be there.
Yeah, it'll be there. I'm meeting this morning.
I know.
They've been there.
But I might, I can't believe,
Oh,
I
John
don't know
won't
what's
be here,
installed
stock
in there, so it's 20.
My brother needs to see it.
24 minutes to
Mark was
install.
up today too.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
know,
what's
his
installed.
stock is
I don't know.
down.
It says my maintenance of whatever it's installed.
Oh, yeah, he's down. He's down 1%.
Wanted to install anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That is the strangest.
we're on, we're streaming.
Oh, Tyler, how do you know?
I have not seen.
Okay.
There's Tyler right there.
All right.
They
Good
did.
timing.
Oh, I was like, that's.
And Stacey Edwards is on now.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, good.
No John Nelson though, which is,
That's
No
what's
John
right.
Nelson.
all right. 5 o'clock. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Sorry, back to my- We have a motion to approve the agenda. Oh, sorry, we gotta take that back. Roll call.
Tyler?
Here.
Jeff?
Yep.
John? Not here. Okay, John's absent. Deb?
Here,
Oh.
somebody just wants.
Oh, John. Thank you, John. Deb and Andrew,
Here.
all present.
All right, we have a motion to approve the agenda.
So.
So moved.
All right, further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, agenda approved. Topic for tonight is Senate File 160, which is the 5-day in-person learning that the governor had just rolled out. And Lindsay, I will turn over to you.
Okay, again, just as Andrew said, on Friday, the governor did sign the Senate File 160, and that is the 5-day in-person bill. What we wanted to talk to you tonight about were a couple different things. And we'll try to go through these rather rapidly. We want to make sure that you understand what's going on. Gail, can you flip to the next slide here, please? This is what, you know, what our instructional delivery plan is right now. We have the current model with the new, what has to happen is we have to go ahead and survey our parents to see if there are any people, they have the remote option already, if there are any people that would like to have the 5-day face-to-face option. So with that, the current parent choice model that we have, we're gonna have to do some refiguring. There are a couple different options that we have there. One of those, you can see there, option A is the 100% remote learning option would still be available. The on-site learning option would be 5 days on-site with Wednesdays as an early release at 12:30. There would be another option that would be out there that would be option B. And that would be the remote learning, again, would be the 100% remote learning. And Carrie, there's about 130 possibly kids that are on that.
Yes, sir.
I think that's, as we start the new semester and things like that, that's where we're at with it, so you can kind of have an idea. The on-site learning would be 5 days, and you notice that we didn't say anything about the Wednesdays on that second option. Right now, our teachers have done an outstanding job of, teachers and administrators of getting this so that, you know, we've really had a good thing going, I think, as far as there were 4 days that we had face-to-face and 1 day that was remote learning. The teachers have been working extremely hard, and as we looked at it from an administrative team, option A would at least allow our teachers to go ahead and have some ability to work with those remote students as far as some office hours with them. And second of all, it would also allow them to go ahead and have some time to work on that curriculum that they would have. Carrie, do you want to add anything to that first slide?
I think that, you know, yeah, we have the two options, A and B. We are strongly recommending option A.
Yeah.
We put the option B just because, yeah, that is an option there, and, but we still have remote learners, and we have to have, I mean, we have to offer that for them. Just like now we have to offer our on-site learners the option to have no remote learning. We have to have the option still for the remote learners, and without that Wednesday, without some time on that Wednesday, I feel that's a huge detriment to our remote learners in the equity piece, in having contact with their teachers, that their teachers have that designated time for them. Not just in the planning, but in the actual contact with them. So.
We have some of our administrators that are online with us here. You guys have the same document, I would guess. Is there anything that you would like to add? I know that in our administrative team meetings, and Ashley, you're involved in those too, but our administrative team meetings, we've talked about this quite a bit. Anything that hasn't been said that you'd like to add? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. This is some of the things that we would look at as far as the remote learning impact. You can see, and I'm not going to read these to you. I'm going to let you take a look at it. I know that these came out, but what we have is under our current model, we're again recommending option A. You can see in each of the buildings, and we have even more detail if you need to have that, but you can look at each of the buildings, what would basically, how they would set it up. Stacy has the dedicated remote teacher. Amy has the ghost. Mike and Vic probably have somewhat similar things as far as how they're handling that. I don't want to necessarily just lump that all in together. But they don't have a ghost, I believe. They used to in the middle school, but they don't now. And then the high school, what they're doing is they're going ahead and teaching them face-to-face, and they're doing the remote. And one of the things that we said when we first started this, that we're going to make our remote learners, we want to make that as equal to as possible as our face-to-face. So we want to have it with rigor, and that's what we're trying to do. Carrie, you want to add anything? No. Anyone else want to add anything there? Okay. Our recommendation would be, as we looked at this, that we go ahead and do, I think the 15th is when this takes effect, if I read the bill correctly, that we would do a 12:30 dismissal. I know Stacy has shared some information with our administrative team about the time factor, that we have the time. The thing that I want you to realize is this isn't the ideal way. Our way that we were doing it was the ideal way. But this, I think, gives our teachers a little bit of opportunity. It still keeps the rigor that, some of the rigor that we want to have for our remote learners. And I don't know, it keeps our heads above water. Does that make sense?
So pre-COVID time, our early out, our every other Wednesday early out, whatever that was at 12:30 as well, wasn't it? And so we had lunches and all that. We were able to feed all the kids and.
Yep.
All right.
All buildings have a 12:30, have had a 12:30 dismissal schedule just because that's what we, and that was another reason we picked the 12:30, just because if we go back to something, families are used to that.
So in essence, we're 2 afternoons off or what we would have normally done, not COVID. If we went without option
I thought, yeah, because remember our calendar before all of this, that we were proposing had additional early outs on
It did.
Wednesdays.
I'd have to.
Ish, yeah, not
Ish,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty
We
much.
will be covered, like, I mean, by going up, meeting the 1080 hours for our calendar. We figured it out and we'll be okay because we banked with the Wednesdays with no early dismissals and count, Wednesday with the remote learning day has been just a normal school day. So
So Lindsay, what happens if we don't do it, we stay like we are?
We can't. Because when she signed that bill into
I
law,
bring you cigarettes, yeah.
we have to follow her directive. We have to follow that. I would not recommend that we would go against that.
what would happen,
Yeah.
Jeff, is we wouldn't be able to count Wednesday as a day.
Right.
That's where they could come back and say, well, you had 4 days, we aren't gonna count any of Wednesday because we're not counting a remote learning day. Good
And
question.
Other districts I know have shows, I heard one question about one district choosing to say 4, because even with 4, they feel like they've met their hour requirement. But what I hear you say is that's not necessarily true for our district. We've looked at it and if, if they're not gonna count it, we could lose the whole day. We have to count the 5 hours. Is that what you're saying?
We want to make sure that we are counting, and I think it's 4 actually, but we're,
Oh, that's right.
whatever. The thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we are able to count the hours. And number 2, that we were able to give our teachers time to work with those remote students. Those remote students deserve the right to have a contact with our teachers. And we've talked a lot about that, haven't we, Terry, and the rest of the team. We've definitely talked about that. So, we're looking at this as, our, again, recommendation be option A. We have included in this document, and we can go through as much or as little as you want to as a board, but we have included, there's going to be some changes, and that isn't necessarily because of 160. There's going to be some changes in the people that you see up here on the screen. They're doing a bang-up job of trying to get it so that they have things set up. We're starting to see, I don't know what we started out with as far as people that were remote, but we're having quite a few, parents that feel comfortable sending their kids back, which is good. But that's also creating issues, or not issues, but some things like when we look at, do we do anything with a ghost period? Do we do anything with a remote teachers and things like that? And again, that is not necessarily 160 related.
This presentation that we have here, this is actually what we were getting ready for the next board meeting next week. But then when this happened, we added the option B to it because our recommendation was going to be after spring break to go to an early dismissal to, as we had more kids coming back, to get more kids in the building, but then to still provide that time. So just an FYI, some of these mitigation things, these are things we were thinking of anyway, so.
Yeah. And obviously, we're with the numbers coming back. I lots points in here. I saw that 3 feet of physical distance is just not possible, and that's understood. We'd like to have that, and obviously, but we still require masks from teachers and students and all that. So we obviously want to do whatever we can to keep the kids separated, but we also understand if we can't, we can't.
We got the plexiglass in there too.
Yeah.
Not going through everything. Ashley, do you want to say anything as far as, I know that you had some things in here. You had some things highlighted that were probably things to zero in on, or maybe the board doesn't need to go through that. I don't know. I don't want to keep you into something that you don't want to hear.
I don't think there's anything we need to.
Okay.
We have full.
It's very well
Trust.
put together, the
Yeah.
document is
Yeah.
very easy to read and very easy to consume, so kudos to you for that. My question would be, how do we intend to share this with our parents and students?
The mitigation part?
Well, right, people are wondering, what does it mean for us on the 15th? I know that's
Oh,
something
yeah.
I'm listening right now, but like, what's our communication?
I would think that if this is something that you feel that option A is something that you would approve, then we would all of a sudden be getting out a district-wide email. And I think building would go ahead and put those out. You guys have anything to add to that? We want to make sure that everyone knows exactly. Everyone did know. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify that a 12:30 dismissal is 12:30 at the elementary, and it's 12:20, I believe, at the high school, middle school, and intermediate. That's our normal early dismissal schedule, but I just wanted it that we're not starting at 12:30 with the first buildings to dismiss and then going after that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to clarify, are we talking about 2 weeks from today? So this would take effect the week of February 15th or
17th. You're
17th,
right.
the Wednesday?
Yep.
Thursday?
I want to get back to one other question I just had, because I think you said the word survey, and I'm wondering if you're asking, are we now, because this is happening, are you asking now, are you
I think-
comfortable again, or are we just assuming that what you've got now, you're set with?
I think the way that the bill is written, that you're required, if you didn't have 100%.
Yeah.
Then you're required to survey.
We can send a statement out
Yeah.
that says
Oh,
that this
And
is
not
what we're
surveying
doing.
is to do this.
Yes.
Let us
and
know if you want to
Yeah,
change.
let us know if you want to
Right.
change, but
Here's the thing.
this is how the district is moving forward with the 100% on site.
And if that was a recommendation after spring break, then that kind of becomes
Yeah, makes
a
sense.
bit
I
easier
agree.
too. We're just speeding it up a little bit.
And our educators are on board with this?
Yeah. Anyone out there, you guys are on board with what we're talking about? I'm trying to see, they're basically administrators. Ashley's there. Any comments? We have been talking about this for a while, okay, so it's not like it came up on us Friday and I was like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, and I guess, real quick too, well, we've been consistent throughout the year, and I think this is the first time we've changed course a little bit, but I just think whatever we change course to will be consistent, I think, the rest of the year and not be jumping in and out, and I think parents appreciate it. I think the admin team and teachers appreciate it, that we're just not in and out changing, so, yeah, I mean, if anybody has any further discussion, we can.
I'll make a motion for A.
Second.
Just to clarify, so the motion is, so beginning February 15th, we're gonna move to a 5-day schedule with Wednesdays early out at 12:30. Motion by Jeff, second by John Nelson. Any further discussion?
Just a point of clarification. So I'm in support of it, but point of clarification. Does this allow for a change? So could a parent change from having a child in person now to going to virtual because of this? I mean, will this create any potential for a shift in our population?
It could. I don't think it will be a big shift, but it could.
But that's what I understand to be the option for parents is that correct?
Yes, Tyler, that is correct.
I think Ashley, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tyler. Did you get your, I think Ashley had a comment that you'd like to add.
Can I say
Yep.
something? I don't want to interrupt Ashley, but it ties in just with what Tyler said. Senate file 160 indicated only with a doctor's notice are we required to do it. But I don't believe that's what our district stance is going to be. It's similar to what it always has been in that it's your parents' choice based on your risk assessment. That is it. Okay. Ashley, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to tie it.
Ashley, you're there? I can't see you. Go ahead.
You're all good. The one thing I just wanted to add to this was the changing in mitigation. So we'll update that on all of our documents too. So it's with board approval that had been done previously. So for our physical distancing in situations where 3 feet isn't possible with the number of students in space, that we would go to the 2 feet, and that the plexi is being used on the shared desks and all the things highlighted. And I know that you guys have seen this before, but I wanted to make sure that it was known that it was approved, part of that as well.
And I think this isn't, I'm not trying to interrupt your motion, but I think too, we're gonna be watching very carefully if we have remote learners that are struggling, we're gonna work with them and we may just go ahead and say, you know something, John, we need to have you back in here. Because that might be the best situation, but again, we have that right and we may exercise that right. But one of the things that we talked about is we gotta have a criteria if we're gonna do something like that.
One last comment, Andrew, sorry to belabor this, but I do think in the messaging, that we lead with our COVID mitigation again, right? So you guys have done a great job with it. It's been impressive, but I think just to your question earlier, Andrew, masks are still required, you know, and we just make sure that we set expectations and hopefully assurance that we're doing what we know to do for COVID mitigation.
I still think there's parents in this group, that can't send their kids back to school. I mean,
So I don't think we can force it.
to come back to school.
Oh, I gotcha. What you were talking about with his,
Yeah.
with your comment about the habits.
Yeah.
Ashley Soma has another comment.
Ashley?
So sorry, I just wanted to echo what Tyler was saying, and just for everyone that's watching too, I know that we can see it, but they can't, that, you know, we're able to maintain our routine cleaning that we have in place. We are following and work closely with Story County Public Health and are very timely in our response to that guidance changing and what that messaging, I mean, that's a live doc that's always being updated for our public, as well as limiting our guests and entry into the school and hand sanitizer and all of those things. So those first three slides, as far as mitigation, we've been able to maintain quite a bit. It's just that highlighting from 3 feet to 2 feet, and 3 feet is still our goal. So in a large majority of scenarios, we can maintain 3 feet. Just when we're unable, that 2 will be our new threshold. Just wanted to clarify that.
Thanks, Ashley.
Any additional discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry.
All right, gotcha, wait, Todd. All those opposed? All right, motion passed. Do we need a separate action item for the mitigation protocols, as those are changing?
I have that, consider take possible action on district calendar modification and mitigation,
Perfect.
so.
And then you were made aware of our
Yep.
changes there. I hope you, if you had questions.
Requirements in terms of publishing, like, remember how we had to go through all of that, like, last spring, or am I confusing the calendar with something else now?
Okay, so the process for the calendar, you have to publish and have a
Yeah.
hearing for the very first time, but then the board has the, they can, after you go through that process of the initial input, then after that, the board can make
Okay.
changes which we have done multiple times
Right.
since COVID. So.
I hope we aren't so much at the beginning.
Which we need to soon start that process for fiscal year 22.
That's all we have
I
on
have
the
a
agenda.
question.
I think
Oh.
Tyler made a comment.
Yeah, Tyler.
Well, did I understand that would be an action on the district calendar from what we just approved?
Yes.
Am I able to make it-
My only other question, and it's probably a minor thing, but do we have any additional like teacher development days through the remainder of the year? And if so, could those land on a Wednesday rather than a whatever day of the week? And maybe we don't have any.
I don't think we have any.
We don't
I
have
think
any more.
the only thing that we have is it the last 2 days?
Those are, yeah.
I don't think there's anything on Wednesdays, Tyler. Oh, Stacy has her hand up. She probably has that calendar right in front of her there. Go ahead.
Well, I've got it memorized. Just the last week of school, that Wednesday, we do not have slated as an early release on that Wednesday. The last day of school, which these will be different than that's posted because we've had 2 snow days anyway, but the last Wednesday, we just with finals with the high school and everything, and we felt like at that point, kind of the remote learning expectations would be over. So that last Wednesday, to get to the hours that we currently have that I have listed on that updated calendar.
And was spring break one that was out of there too?
Did you fill that? Okay, that's what I understood too.
The spring break.
We're not doing anything because we're all gone during spring break, so that's not anything that we have to worry
Oh.
about.
Right.
Okay.
So far, we have 2 snow days.
Yeah, 2 snow days and 1 early out right now.
Anything
Move to
else?
adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, meeting adjourned.